Don't try to run, don't try to hide. You steal your car without thinking twice. Stop the party, hide your shit. Felipe's in the house tonight. Whoa!
What's up, fool? Podcast. MartinRizo over there with Philip in the middle.
Yo.
We got Rodrigo Torres.
Yeah, man.
Jennifer Lee Pryor right here, our guest.
In the house.
Man, if you guys ever go to the Richard Pryor Instagram page right now, just go. There's only one, the original one. It's run by them too. Go follow right now, and then come back and listen to the podcast. I know a lot of you guys are multitasking. We had a guy last night. What were they doing, bro?
He was watching the Sparks game, the Dodger game, another major league game, and then the podcast. And I think he was talking to his mom too.
Yeah, this guy was watching three sports game and the podcast at the same time, and chatting
Triple header over
and
there,
petting his dog at the same time. Multitasking.
That is skills right there, dude.
And we have the guy right here that runs also the rocket pins, which I still have, bro.
Great. Hey,
I still have the collection, bro. The original ones you gave me with the one with the little ice cream truck.
The cape, the Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre cape, yes, of course.
You know what? I have, and by the way, my name's Mauricio Alvarado. So yeah, I run Rockin' Pins. We do-
Hell yeah.
Mauricio Alvarado, rocking pins on Instagram.
The man behind the curtain.
Get closer to the mic. Yeah, don't be shy.
Here, I got something for both you and Felipe and Rodrigo.
Yeah.
And you can pull it towards you, the microphone.
I like
on
that
the
you
base.
collaborate a lot with Flesher Cartoons because that's like the OG, bro.
Let's see if
Back when you were a child.
if Felipe
Gracias, güey.
likes that one. But yeah, basically, my company, I just started making merch for stuff that I grew up loving: Three Stooges, Gumby, the Fleischer cartoons.
Brody.
Brody.
Oh, that's so cool.
So what I just gave Felipe is a Brody Stevens pin. So what I ended up doing is we sold those pins and we put up a bench for Brody up in Reseda. So if you go to Reseda Park, there's a bench,
How cool of
that
that.
celebrates
How cool.
Brody.
That's where he used to pass out, huh?
Yeah, that's where he would hang out with the ducks. And there's like a video that he made called Valley Vibes where it shows you at Brody hanging out there. And I was a big fan of Brody. I'm from LA, so going to the
Yeah.
Comedy Store and checking him out. And yeah, essentially what I've been using my merch company for is to highlight, cool people like Brody, cool people like Groucho
Cab
Marx,
Calloway.
Cab Calloway. And one of the big things that I thought was important to really highlight was Richard Pryor. I mean, Richard Pryor is
When'd you
king.
guys link up?
He chased me down. You know,
Oh, so he was
yeah.
looking after you just to get the get Richard Pryor on there
Yeah,
on the
he
roster.
knocked on my door and just said, "Come on, this is something I love, and I want to team up with you, and let's do some merch." And I'm like, "Great!" And I love that he was a young dude coming at me like that, because there was such a love and really authentic appreciation, for Richard, and for comedy, and I just think that's fantastic to see.
And also to have like a authentic merch too, not like bootleg stuff that's been bootleg since before.
You got it.
time.
I teamed years ago. I teamed with some big companies, and they were just, they didn't care about it. He cares, and he designs himself, and it's fantastic. And I love working with him in that regard. And and I have somebody who polices this stuff too, because boy, people love to infringe.
I bet.
Oh yeah.
Because even the shots that you have, the Wanted album too, when you made the sweaters and the shirts, I mean, really cool like designs that you're picking.
Yeah, I mean, the thing
Like
is...
the ones you and Felipe have on right now. I mean, that's a sweet ass.
Mauricio, can you check the mic just for a second? Oh, sorry.
Check 1 2, check.
That's okay.
Bueno.
Am I good? Okay.
But yeah, all the old artwork is classic, as you can see around your room. You guys are just... These album covers are just so awesome and amazing. And my whole thing is just celebrate the classic stuff. Put that stuff on cool stuff that people wear. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but that's kind of how these properties and icons stay alive, is by being on merchandise. I'm sure you hear about the Elvis estate or
they
Michael
license
Jackson.
it out.
Yeah.
Selena and all
And
that
the quality of the merchandise too, like what you guys are doing.
And the other brand, what's the name? I don't know if you guys work with the other brand that uses a lot of stuff.
Which one?
They have the Muhammad Ali.
Oh, the You're talking about the boxer one, but it has Red Fox in there, and there's a couple other comics.
Oh, is
What's
it
it called?
CMG?
Roots of Game.
No, Roots
Oh,
of the
Roots
Fight.
of Flight.
Roots
Roots of
of the
Flight
Fight.
is a company that licenses
Right.
from the estates, but there's actual companies that gather up different estates. So then they represent, hey, I represent Charles Bronson or Clint Eastwood estate.
Chuck Norris.
So with like the merch that I do, with Groucho Marx, I have to go to, I think it's a lawyer and a guy his name's Frank Ferrante, who actually does Groucho Marx impressions. He does a whole show
Really?
of Groucho Marx, and they are the ones who handle the licensing.
Wow.
And
It's funny you say that because the owner of Tommy T's Comedy Club, right?
Mm-hmm.
He used to have the logo. He used to have the Laurel and Hardy face, and Bozo the Clown, bro. He owned the license.
is
to
it
that.
Larry Harmon? That's who I licensed.
Bozo the Clown,
I
right?
have Laurel and Hardy from that company, but they sold Bozo the Clown to David Arquette. So David Arquette now owns Bozo
Laurel
the
and
Clown.
Hardy, okay.
What's that
No, he owns
legacy
Bozo
money?
the Clown.
Because Bozo
Really?
the Clown used to
Yeah.
own the license to Lauren Hardy, and before he passed away, he sent Tommy T cease and desist because he had the Lauren Hardy as a logo
Oh wow.
outside his comedy club.
Caricature.
If you go to the comedy store too in the main room, if you notice, they have the Laurel and Hardy and Groucho and a couple other comedians
On the wallpaper?
Yeah, on the wallpaper and in those neon signs in
Right,
the main
yeah.
room and stuff like that.
Comedy store.
The comedy store, yeah. But anyways, back to the merch and why I think it's important. Yeah, there's got to be
Keeps the legacy
companies,
alive.
keeps this
I was
going.
shocked he
Yeah.
was getting the rights to a lot of the stuff because people, weren't doing it. So he's filled that gap, which is fantastic. He's really, capitalized on that, which I think is great because he's got. I think Mauricio's whole mindset is wanting to carry these legacies on, wanting to introduce people to these great
Newer
to the
generation.
greats.
Newer audiences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah,
right.
because one of the things that I also do with my company is I do screenings because that's the big thing. That's the big important thing is you got to show this stuff to people. And I think right now with movie theaters, I don't know if you guys are noticing, like
The
people really
decline.
they're not going out. Unless it's a Marvel movie, unless it's some big budget thing. They really don't care, especially like with comedies. So what I've noticed though too is because aside from the Richard Pryor stuff, I do screenings of Gumby, I do screenings of Betty Boop, Popeye. So I'm working to restore those cartoons.
That's so cool.
And
Amazing.
getting people to come out, they will come out for that stuff. If they grew up watching this stuff and they've never seen it with an audience, they want to get that chance to see this. Rodrigo, if you recall, we did a screening
Yeah.
of Wanted over at the
live in
Egyptian.
concert.
Yeah, next to the Egyptian.
And then you
Theater.
went up there, you spoke in the beginning. It was really cool. Like
Yeah.
everybody's on their lawn chairs. We had the headphones because it
Yeah.
was during the pandemic or like before it was getting all crazy. And it was a really special moment. It was cool.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is I
Thank
want to do tours. I want to do screenings of Richard Pryor films. I want to have like a Richard Pryor film festival, like watch Stir Crazy, watch Which Way's Up, The Toy, watch his comedy specials. I think this is the way we're going to be able to kind of keep this stuff going to the next generation because sadly kids, they're being flooded by so many things, especially with comedy, so many comedians, little bits and bites and stuff that they're kind of forgetting about. Hey, where did this come from? Who is Richard Pryor? Or, where did this stuff come from? And what's funny, I keep telling Jennifer is because my family's Mexican. My dad's from Michoacan and my mom's from the Efe. But the way they know,
Órale.
the way they know
Pastor.
Richard Pryor is as an actor. See no
In
evil,
movies.
hear no
Yeah.
evil. Yeah,
Yeah.
with Gene Wilder.
Superman 3, dude.
And that's what's so great is that one thing I want to give a shout out because I run Richard's social media and I put this thing that he was the first black Spider-Man. If you watch The Toy, he's wearing the the
Spandex.
Spider-Man
Yeah.
outfit and
Yeah.
Oh
stuff.
shit, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was in the Superman 3. Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was the highest paid comedian at the time.
At the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
For Superman 3.
Groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from, the acting stuff, the influence that Richard had on comedy, I don't have to tell you guys, but, it feels like the younger generation is just forgetting about it, or they just don't know, or they're just, I don't know, skipping over that. So my whole thing is working with Jennifer, running the YouTube channel, running the social media, putting clips out there, putting information of Richard and making merchandise and
And real quick, with the original, with the live on the Live in Concert, that was originally a film, right? That was released in theaters
Oh yeah.
before it even was a VHS or a DVD.
Oh gosh, yes.
So I know everybody like quotes Delirious or Raw, but Richard Pryor was the first one to be
Oh
released.
yeah,
in
he was
theaters.
the first one. Well, actually,
Special.
this is interesting. The actual first of the first. I just made a deal with Lionsgate we're releasing it new, a DVD for Live and Smoke It. So he did that at the Improv in 1971.
Where you see the little prices of the like cupcakes or the pies
There
and
you
the
go.
coffee back there.
There you go. Very raw, very very guerrilla style, right? This guy went
Just
killed.
one shot, right?
Yeah. Michael Blum just kept the camera on him, and he just now, Michael gave me a contract. I should have brought it to show you. And he came up to Richard one night and he said, "Listen, bro, I want to film you. You're fantastic." And obviously both in New York, both at the Improv. And he said, "Okay." And he took out a napkin, Richard, and wrote 50-50 and signed it. That was the contract. And why not,
Yeah, even back then, like drawing out his own contract.
Right, exactly right. So, but anyway, but Live in Concert, so then fast forward to 1978. Well, it was the height of Richard and me being in love.
Yeah, because the
which is really
opening
cool.
scenes, you guys getting out of the limousine with him in his
Yeah.
notebook, you guys walking out.
Yeah. And it was amazing because he had just shot the car and he was in all kinds of trouble legally and emotionally. He was just a hot mess, right? And of course, I was madly in love anyway. And I was working for him. I was decorating his house.
When he caught on fire, was he like screaming really loud?
What do you think?
I was telling these guys about running out the
more
house,
gas on me.
running out the house naked, bro, choking on water,
Yeah, dude.
thinking I was dying and shit.
That's
But he must have
Somebody had me the torch.
Because me, I always think about it, because I smoke crack, right? But I smoke crack afterward, and they always, when you watch a crack documentary, they always give credit to Richard Pryor for starting the crack epidemic.
No,
he didn't
that's
start
such
that.
They always say
Not
that before it was just rich people, making smoking
freebase.
crack,
We called it freebase.
freebase or
what
steady rock.
Yeah.
sounds like a-
So Richard Pryor had they were ahead of their game, bro. They was they were like making their own shit, right? So
Oh, yeah.
So he had Bacardi in the pipe, right?
yeah.
And it broke.
Whoa,
It was a suicide attempt,
151. What? There you
It
go.
was a suicide attempt.
So
He was
the real deal
You were
is.
gonna leave him. He was sad.
Oh yeah, I loved him. Oh yeah, it was funky at that time. It was very funky. I wasn't there anymore, and I came out to see him, and it was, he had some reshoots to do on Stir Crazy, and he wasn't doing them. He was just so out on that shit. And and he said, Jennifer, I'm going down, and you're gonna come with me. And I said, no, the fuck I'm not.
Ride or die, dude.
Fuck you, dude.
I'm right
No
or
way,
die.
dude.
Story of my life,
right,
bro.
Exactly right. So
Or dye my hair.
no, I got out of there, and apparently what he did was he poured 180 proof rum over himself and torched himself.
Damn.
And but in the meantime,
Wow.
I had driven back to Beverly Hills where I had taken an apartment. And I called Jim Brown. I said, Jim, he's really going to hurt himself this time. Come on, help. And Jim said, oh, Jennifer, just dismissing me, right? Yeah, like his aunt did in the kitchen on my way out the door. He's in trouble, man. And they were all very dismissive because, this talks, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody was on the take, right? Oh, so little white girl, just get the fuck out of here, right?
She don't know nothing.
Yeah, she don't know anything. She don't know. And meanwhile, so I get back and then I call the house after I talk to Jim. And I say, Aunt Dee, and she goes, wow. She drops the phone, and Richard is tearing ass through the house on fire.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like-
so I
That
get in the
sugar
car.
on
Like
that
the
shit
Human
sticks to you,
Torch,
bro.
dude.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Totally.
His skin was melting too.
Oh shit. And I went out to Hollywood Presbyterian, and all the the aunts and all the hangers-on were there, and I said to the doctors, he's on freebase. He's on vodka, Courvoisier. He's loaded. Don't give him morphine. You'll kill him. And they hated me. They were so mad at me because you don't talk to the police. You don't give information. Right?
Yeah.
That was their mindset. I get it. However, when you're about to die, it's rather that mindset got to go out the window. So and then he was transferred to the burn center, and then wow, it was rock and roll.
Yeah, dude.
I forget which
Live
documentary,
fast, bro.
but
Brutal.
how do you recall how far he ran from the house? Because
Yeah,
I remember
no,
it was
he
like
was he was
Busted out the
jogging.
front
distance.
window, right?
He was no, he ran out the back door. Yeah, but well, there are two different stories
Right,
on
right.
that. There
Because
is
one's in a book.
How'd you
and
guys
one's in
put him out?
documentary.
yeah, there is. Oh, I didn't put him out. I wasn't there. I mean,
No.
he was in fire. He wanted me. He was going to set me on fire too. When he said,
Holy
"I'm going
shit.
down, you're going
Like
too."
neighbors helped and the fire department.
Well, he was jogging down the street, and they caught up with him. He was a terror ass, and he was on fire. He was on fire.
It's like nobody understood him, huh?
Like the little match he did on Live
That's
on
right.
Sunset.
That's
Oh
right.
my
Live on
God.
Sunset. Live on Sunset. But live in concert was such a great tour de force. That's when he crossed over, man. That's when white people started saying, hey, this dude is like, he's good, and after he shot the car with the white ex-wife in it. Well, she was a wife at the time. She
Yeah.
became an ex, obviously, after that.
Can't stand this
yeah,
bitch.
Right. You can leave, but not in my car. You bring those hush puppies, bitch. You gotta go. And it was very cool though. And then one night he does this U-turn, and we end up at the Comedy Store, and he gets on stage, and I'd never seen anything like this. I already loved him because he was so vulnerable and so interesting, but I never saw him on stage. And when he was on stage, he just was magical, And I started taking notes, and we go over it the next day, and then 3 months later he had an act, and then we filmed it.
Which is basically the album Wanted, right?
Yeah, that's
the
it.
cover of those
That's
t-shirts.
it. Wanted is based on that. Yeah. Oh, look, a few different. Macho
in
Man isn't on the. I forget. Is it on the record or in the film? But there are a few different slices there. But that was really a moment, a great moment. Yeah. And then of course he went on, to do.
That's it right there. We have it right there.
Yeah.
We have it right there.
Oh.
That's
We
it.
got it right there.
They're right here on the bottom, behind me. Oh, cool.
That's it.
And that was 1980, like early 80s.
No, that's 78, 79.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, this is.
Some of my jokes
yeah.
are in there, dog.
Yeah. That's 81. We were married then.
This one,
Oh
when
no,
the album
yeah.
came out.
Oh, sorry, 70. That's 78. Live in concert. Yeah.
And that's in recorded in Long Beach.
Long Beach.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
yes.
Where at?
At the,
Long Beach Theater.
Yeah, the Long
Yeah.
Beach Theater, dude.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
It's next
Because
to
there have
the-
been a couple comics that did George Lopez did his first special that's on Showtime there.
Wanted to do it in
Yeah.
Long Beach. Yeah. Yeah. Lopez. Oh man. I mean, there's a name.
Was Richard
He
the
has a gun, right? He has that 357, that one he blew out the car with, right?
I got.
You
the
you
gun.
have it now?
I got the.
You
gun.
let him borrow it or what?
Fuck! I got. You know why I have that gun?
Why is that?
Because it almost killed me too. I took the firing pin out. I put it in plexiglass, and I had a thing plaque. It's not what is it? What's the quote?
Not today.
Just us. It's just us. No justice, just us.
We don't have to look
Yeah.
for justice while we found with just us.
Yeah, just us.
That's on that record.
No justice, just us.
Was Richard the pioneer of comedy specials?
Richard started
Concert films,
working-
right?
Yeah,
Concert films.
Yeah, and Richard started working with Lily. That's when he started. He started doing some really good acting with Lily. Yeah, but
Lily Tomlin.
yeah, Lily Tomlin.
One of my favorite movies that he did. I saw all of them. Like when he was getting older. I went to a screening of that movie. I don't know if it was Warner Brothers. I forgot, but it was that movie. It's one of my favorite, but a lot of people haven't seen it. It's called Brewster's Millions.
Yeah,
Love that movie, man.
John Candy.
Love that movie because he's playing baseball in the minor leagues, bro, and it's sad because a train passes through left field. And, yeah, because of low. Then his uncle, his grandfather, his son, a relative dies, and he has to spend $30 million in 30 days to get $300 million.
Gosh.
and Richard did just about that doing Freebase.
Put a boom. That's funny, man. No wonder that movie didn't do well because he could have done that one day.
Life imitates
Exactly.
art.
There you go.
And I just want to.
The real thing about that movie was that movie had a lot of hangarounds.
Yeah. Yeah, you know that was.
You had to
the
get rid of the
thing.
money.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But the people were coming up with crazy ideas, and I always wonder, like, I wonder if crazy people like that came up with crazy ideas to get money out of Richard. You know, like the one guy. Oh,
damn.
we're gonna cut this iceberg and then take it to Africa and give them the water.
Listen,
We need $1 million, Rich.
you're talking. You're talking the truth. I mean, but Richard also liked hookers, right?
I learned from the best.
So and he was a
me
soft.
slide.
and he
I
was
never knew that about Hooker. I thought he always made it seem like they just
No,
ran
bro,
to him.
no. He was just like, he was for real. He wants some pussy.
Absolute.
Like, go pay for it.
But I thought
Everyone's like, oh, I'm a Puritan, dude. I don't
Like
do
on
that.
Santa
I
Monica.
thought they were all
Boulevard?
I'm
groupies.
crazy too, dude. Yeah, sure you are, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did grow up in that system.
Yeah,
Up in
but
a whorehouse.
He grew up in a whorehouse, exactly.
Oh,
So he was comfy there, and
that's
and
scary.
yeah, and, yeah.
Whoa, dude, what happened? Dude?
That's where you grew up, bro.
Hey, dude. Yeah, I'm still living there, dude. Rent's cheap.
How did you meet Richard Pryor?
Okay, so
How did that happen?
I was an actress. I was doing gigs here and there, and I went to Texas this summer of '77, and with a friend, and we were singing and playing in clubs, and I got back to Los Angeles, and I needed a gig. I was broke. I'm like, and a friend of mine, Lucy Soroyan, was working for him on the NBC variety show, and fucking him too. And,
Pussy
and-
man.
Yeah, exactly. And she said, I'm doing his house over. He's just bought this house in Northridge, and I need help. So can you help? So okay, so I met him, and the first day I met him, I have a great photograph of that day, 1977, August 22nd, 1977, and I was mad for him immediately. He was so disarming. He was so vulnerable and touching, and sexy, and handsome, and I just loved him. And nothing happened. I worked for him, and every day I'd come to work and I'd set up in the dining room, my little notebooks, and every morning he was doing the NBC variety show, right, at the time, and every morning he'd walk out with another woman. And I'm like, I didn't care. I was like, okay, I got you, dude. I know who you are. But
Hell yeah.
yeah. I mean, just another one night stand.
It's a man, his hoe, and his cane.
Yeah.
Órale, carnal.
Yeah. And then he married another woman. During that time, Richard's life was so interesting because he packed so much life into it. I mean, in 1 month would be 30 years since someone living in Missouri, you know what I mean? I mean, everything was so fast and furious. And so he married Deborah one week. He did the Hollywood Bowl, Kiss My Ass,
You talk shit on gay people. And they got all
Gay
mad at him.
Bowl, he did that. And then quit the variety show. And it was like 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
living
like 1
fast,
week.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was working for him, and one night we were playing chess. He taught me how to play chess, and I started beating him. And that didn't go over so well. Hello.
Damn. Everybody I've taught chess to how to play have beaten me. Because I just teach.
Do you play chess?
No. But I know.
I play checkers
I know
when
all
I
the
play
moves.
chess.
I know all the moves that the pieces do, and I have taught them to at least 3 kids, 2 adults. Then we played, and they beat me because I don't know how to really play. I just know what to do. I don't know how to plan out 7 moves ahead.
That I know.
Beat me with that rook, fool.
Yeah,
The
right.
rook.
Right.
What's up, fool? We got the Rocket Pants guy right here, man. Follow him on Instagram right now. Also, man,
Mauricio.
we have we still have a submarine that's missing, bro. $250,000 to go see
A ticket.
pieces of the Titanic, bro.
To become
For
a victim,
$250,000, I'll go kidnap Leonardo DiCaprio for you, bro, and bring him to you. And I'll get the old lady, bro. I'll dig her up, bro.
Yeah, Kate Winslet,
And I'll get a
dude.
sapphire for you. What's up? Let's see that submarine, fella. Oh, man, not that one.
That's the
That's
yellow
the yellow submarine, bro.
Hey, hey, with the Beatles.
Oh, there it
There it
is. I ain't gonna lie, man. When I first saw it, you know what I thought it was? I thought it was
Suppository.
Dr. Evil's fucking spaceship, bro, from the movie.
Now that shit's more advanced than this fucking crappy shit.
So what's up, bro? We're gonna have a rocky pin of the fucking submarine or what?
Yeah, we'll raise funds. So
Well, James Cameron already
What?
went down there.
How did you two meet, by the way?
oh yeah, just through.
You were stalking, bro.
Titanic.
Exactly. He totally stalked me.
Yeah, I want to do official Richard merch, which by the way,
Gotta
Oh,
go
yeah.
to the
we
source.
have a new
Presents.
shirt.
We have presents.
We have a gift for you guys.
You know, I got a funny story about that because Freeway Ricky Williams, right? Ricky Ross. Freeway Rick Ross. He was on Joe Rogan, and Rick Ross was doing a podcast somewhere else, and he said that he goes, Joe Rogan gave me some advice. You know, I thought he would just throw me some money or something, right? But he said that I should get some merch, right? So he said some random guy after he did the podcast will come to him and said, let's do some merch, man. I'll give you this. I'll do all the work. I'll just send you checks. Just sign right here. And he had the thing, the real Rick Ross is not a rapper. And that was the shirt that went viral. And he made a lot of money off of it.
Well, what sold you on him, though?
What sold you on him? It was the long hair.
The long
you look like
hair.
Philip.
Well, first of
Mustache. And,
But you protect
Yeah.
Richard's estate and everything.
Well, yeah, and first of all, he was, the youth coming to me and saying, like, let's get this going on here. And the appreciation at that age was so fantastic, right? And so real and authentic. And
Well,
nobody else was knocking on my door with that kind of love and appreciation. And ideas, and great ideas. And wanting to collaborate, which,
Love that word.
Yeah, a collab. A collab.
And be involved with the creations that you guys are going to put out.
Exactly. Like the red stencil shirt, the Pryor.
Yeah.
He says to me one day, go through your photos, Jennifer, because I don't know what I have sometimes, right? And he says, go through the photos. And I pulled it out, and I'm like, oh, Mauricio. And I sent it to him. He said, that's it. That's the shirt. And he designed it. And so, it's a great collab. I mean, and he cares,
And also, too, what I'm kind of doing as well is because she has a bunch of photos and negatives and memorabilia of Richard's life that I just find value in. Like, she has all these slides, photo slides. As soon as I went to her garage and was like, hey, I'll buy a scanner. I'll start scanning all this stuff. The first negative that I found, one of these boxes was of Richard in Superman 3 with Christopher Reeve. Like a whole strip of just him behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes.
Fucking
Him,
cool,
All
dude.
behind the scenes stuff.
in his
Yeah.
fittings for his outfits. And then I went in another box, and then there's photos for the toy. Another stuff, there's behind the scenes stuff for Grease Lightning.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
And I need help because I'm looking at boxes because I'm an archivist in a sense, but I need to break it down with detail, and he's that guy.
Categorize
So
it.
basically-
Categorize it, archive it, yeah.
so basically, the public has never seen a lot of these negatives, these pictures.
No.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
Behind the scene.
Yeah, because if you realize, if you look at these big companies like, these big studios, unless there's somebody within that studio that cares about,
That's right.
a certain movie or actor, no one's really going to take the chance to say, hey, maybe we should do a retrospective of Richard or go back and
He's
scan all
hitting
these
on all these guys.
negatives
He's
and
hitting on
stuff.
TCM. He's hitting on all these people. He's hitting on, what was the last thing you did about, you're talking to about Brewster's Million? No, what's the latest? Blue Collar? No.
Oh, so what I find really funny is people, because I run the social media for Richard, everybody keeps asking for a Richard Pryor biopic, like a
Oh, no,
film
I'm
about
doing that.
about his life.
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is in the 80s, Richard already made a film about
JoJo
his
Dancer.
life. JoJo
JoJo,
Dancer.
that's right.
Yeah.
He starred and directed in this film that he did. And that's one of the big reasons why, teaming up with Jennifer,
Yeah.
going to Sony, who owns this film, and saying, hey, could we get a scan? Could we restore
And
the
he
film?
started a dialogue. So now they're contacting me and saying, let's work together. And I'm just like, wow. And he's doing it.
Because all we got from Richard Pryor is the specials. We have the albums and what we know of them, the pictures that have already been
Right.
put out. But what you have
all the
is another, yeah, and it's a whole nother
I have a whole other
a
dimension.
whole nother bubble of a
I-
life that we haven't even seen.
That's
Yeah.
so much content that nobody's ever seen, and
Yeah.
it can just keep.
That's right.
Yeah, and then
That's so cool.
Mike Epps played Richard Pryor and that Magic Johnson.
Oh,
the
don't
Netflix
get
show.
me started.
What'd you think about that?
What do you think about that?
Don't get me
Season
What?
2.
Winning Time on HBO.
Winning Time.
Mike
Don't
Epps
get her in
plays.
trouble. Don't get her in trouble.
Because I remember I was watching
What?
it.
You're telling me to shut up?
No. I'm telling them to.
He's
I'm
gonna-
telling them.
No,
Hey.
because we're a
Do you
fan
want
of.
you want the truth?
We're a fan
Yeah,
of.
we want the
of
truth.
John C.
everybody.
Riley and
Give me
everyone on
another
that show,
drink.
dude.
I'll give
Get
you
another
a
drink, man. Hit another bowl.
Ready for season 2, bro.
Mike Epps. Listen, dude, I like Mike. I don't want to trash him, but god damn it, he had a responsibility to represent in a very authentic way.
You didn't like the way he played him?
Oh, come on.
I would prefer like somebody that fits his body structure. You know
Oh,
what I
the
mean? That
Bush-
too.
Marlon Wayans.
But I mean, they kind of made him look like a drug addict. You know, that's what I didn't like. But I mean,
Oh,
that's my
God.
personal opinion.
He didn't have the He didn't have the mustache, huh? Did he? I forgot. Philip, look up Mike Epps. Winning time.
He just did this imitation of a guy stoned and fucked up, and like it was just a phony representation. And God damn it, he had a responsibility. And I fought with him about this.
Give me the Richard Pryor voice, bro.
That motherfucker.
That's more authentic than Mike.
You know what I mean? I don't want to be over here
Hate on
trying
Mike,
and
bro.
shit.
Hate on Mike. Hate on
I can't hate on that fool.
No,
but
I'm not hating.
no.
Mike.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, like I honestly,
There it is, look.
Not that I'm not a hater. I don't do TV. I'm not. But I didn't like it.
Yeah,
that's
you
me
like-
though.
I
But
took-
I love Richard Pryor. Though.
Listen.
That just looks like a dad, bro. Like, that's
You know, and
He look like George.
Y'all want to go play basketball, fam? Like, dude,
He look like George Jefferson, bro.
Yeah, you can't.
You know, and he just and they had him like, you know, visiting the VIP Lakers thing, all stoned and fucked up.
I
And
think
it was like
Richard
so-
Pryor would have always something snappy, a good comeback
think-
to say, something funny. You
It
know?
was just a real pathetic representation.
I think.
yeah.
I think what they were trying to. I think they could have done the whole scene without putting Richard Pryor in it because
That's right.
they
Leave him out.
Because you could
That's
tell,
exactly right.
Like it's like they wanted to sell the
80s.
They wanted to sell the sexy 80s.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So they got to put in a guy who the only guy who really enjoyed the 80s.
the drug-induced 80s, bro.
Richard Pryor, because they could have added the Stones in there, bro.
Yeah.
They could have added Gerald Strawberry, you know.
it was pejorative. It was
Yes, there you
negative.
go.
It
Rick
was
James.
racist.
It
and
was
Yeah.
it was
was
to
shit.
show the sexy and drugs, rock and roll of Hollywood.
But
And it
even
was, and it was
though-
negative. It wasn't sexy.
even though that character didn't move the plot whatsoever, it was just
Nothing.
like
It was just
whatsoever.
they could have
Not
used
like an
any,
extra almost.
they could have used like a Rick James instead.
Hey,
you know?
and they try to make
Rick
it
James
seem,
would have been good.
yeah,
and they try
yeah.
to make
No.
it seem also that
Rick James,
that Richard
bitch.
Pryor was like telling Magic just go and fuck everybody else, even though Magic was already fucking everybody before he met Richard in that
Orale.
movie, in that
Yeah.
show.
That's right. That's exactly right. And they could have done it like they could have
Richard could have
represented.
said, "Wear a condom." Say, "Richard, wear a condom."
Man, where motherfucking Jimmy at?
Richard never wore a condom.
I know, huh? Fuck that. Let that dick
Do
bleed.
some Richard, bro. Get closer. How can you never wear a
Blasting,
condom,
bro.
bro?
No need for.
By the way, I gotta say, Richard had the nicest dick of anybody I ever.
Hell yeah. Can you describe it?
A question in the chat.
All right. Thank you. Look at this. Live at the Comedy Store,
Girl, thank you.
1973, baby.
73?
So these
How
are,
old are you,
are
bro?
new reissues.
I was negative fucking 25, bro.
This fool was 2, dog.
Holy shit.
After he shaved his mustache, too.
So these are new reissues that that was just put out. So you can get these at your local record store, Amoeba, if you're local here in LA.
You'll love
but-
craps.
That's it.
Felipe.
This one right here was, if you watch our show, my other podcast, the History for Fools podcast, episode 1, we talked about Red Fox's first ever comedy club, black-owned comedy club in Beverly Hills.
That's right.
right here. And he
Fairfax
recorded
Avenue.
the specials there.
That's
Is
right.
this one of the ones that were done by, what's his name, bro? Where they followed him to record it?
Originally, what is that island record under Drozen?
Oh no.
Laugh
Drozen,
Records.
Laugh
Remember
Records.
that? I read somewhere they
Originally
were
it was,
following
released
him.
on that one.
I heard that he owed a contract, one of the books, and that they were just recording anything.
No, not only that, but they would put out an album.
That's what Drozen said.
Here, no, that's true. They would put, but he's not telling the truth about his papa and him, right? So his papa,
I've heard the
what
stories.
they would do is they would put out an album, and then they'd slice up, they'd cut it, they different track, different here, and they'd make it another.
Because some of the
album.
material is on the other material, huh?
Exactly.
Right?
It kind of like,
Yeah.
like
It's a redux.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I might have
And a
one.
lot of those ones
You're
they.
the producer of your special, cutting up clips and putting them on YouTube.
Totally right.
Yeah.
You know, and
think this
selling
is one of
it,
those.
selling it
Yeah.
as new, right? So when I
Big
came,
Bertha with the big black shiny
Yes. Oh, my God. This is the old Black Ben, the blacksmith.
Because he has badass little bits on
Oh,
this one.
my God.
so
eh.
here's the deal. So when I came back, you know,
Come on, Mama, have some too.
So I married Richard twice, right? And when I came
Third
back,
was a charm.
yeah, exactly, right. Oh, hello. And I came back in summer of '94 because he was sick and he was like, I need help, come back. And one of the things that I came back to was a heap of mess, just a big gang of mess. And it was like, oh shit, I gotta figure this shit out. I had to go sue Drozen because he didn't own it anymore, but he acted as if he did. So I was in litigation with him for 4 years, and we got all the Laugh Record stuff back. So it is all owned by Pryor.
Is that true that whenever Richard Pryor will put out, like, say he put out Live on the Sunset Strip, that this label will put out 2 albums at the same time, concurrent.
That's exactly.
And they'll put them on
what they
cassettes
would-
and sell them at truck stops.
Oh yeah, totally.
That's
And by the
insane.
Way, and by the way, that was the Chitlin
That's
circuit,
like,
right?
Stealing.
And the Chitlin Circle, you know, is that? But now I've got this person who I pay her monthly to go down, man, to take down the trademark infringements because they're still doing it.
One cool thing, he has a Pygmy Markham on the cover too.
How often were people putting out albums like that back then? Was it just like people would go up there and just
Black comic party albums. It was different.
because it started? I saw that movie. What's called
Dolomite?
Dolomite. How
Dolomite.
He was doing them out of the trunk. NWA
Yeah.
style
They
in
were
the
called
beginning.
party records.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, they would
Well,
record at an
they were called
apartment,
party
right?
records.
Jennifer,
Yeah.
was
Right.
everybody recording them, or was it just Rhino and the other one?
No, I mean it was Laugh Records. Yeah,
Laugh Records.
And then when I came back, we started working with Rhino. Well, Warner Brothers was
Warner Brothers.
You
that's
know-
originally,
Warner
'cause
Brothers.
later
You
he
know the
came
way-
out.
And then Rhino is a
You know the-
subsidiary of
You know the
Warner
way
Brothers.
that these when this started coming around, nobody was recording comedy.
Really?
Yeah, because the first big contract was given to Johnny Carson, and it was given by Casablanca Records, and it was a lot of money, and it bombed, bro.
But
It
those were
bombed.
his features because
Yeah,
the first
his features, yeah.
the first Red Fox album was put out by Frank Sinatra under the label Reprise Records.
The first one?
Well, it was he already had a gang like the
Because Drozen did Red
right
too.
the kind of like the precursors to the original releases.
But this was
Kinda
more
how
word
this-
of mouth,
Yeah.
right? This was
How
like
this
just
So,
like
first
you know-
album got re-released
you know,
originally on Warner
when
Brothers.
That's his very first
Exactly.
one.
when Laugh Records and all these places started recording urban comedy and whatever comedy they can find and putting it out there, man, 40 years later, bro, when Sirius and fucking Sirius and what's the other one called? Sirius satellite
XM,
radio.
satellite.
Sirius when XM came out.
Right.
I met the guy from
Satellite
XM,
radio.
and they were looking for content, bro, for
Really?
comedy. And I remember that guy showed up to DC Improv. He recorded me. And then boom, like 2 years later,
Shit.
my comedy is playing. I was one of the first guys that their comedy was on XM, bro. Cause
Wow.
I didn't get paid for it for many
That's
years.
what I was thinking when I'm listening
Yes.
to him.
But the
Jennifer-
Did you
exposure,
chase
huh?
that down? Oh, yeah, good.
So Lisa Pryor, Daniel here showed up. No. And
Lee Pryor
we got to deal with Sound Exchange. They hit me up, and it was like a long Bible I had to fill out. But now I get
Oh, yeah.
money.
Oh, damn.
But
yeah.
but they got a lot of
girl.
people like that.
Hit you up, girl. Yeah. That's it.
Because Richard Pryor stuff still plays on Sirius.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Somebody
For sure.
asked in the chat if she was ever there during the Comedy Store basketball games.
With the Mooney twins.
Comedians like playing in the basketball games at Richard Pryor's house.
Comedy Store basketball game.
I
don't play no basketball.
Wait, when was this?
These guys are. These people are.
Right there with Gary Shanley.
These people are watching fucking too much Dave Chappelle right here.
Exactly.
This is true because Pauly Shore always says that Richard Pryor babysat him
That's true.
and Paul Rodriguez
But you know what they were really doing.
partying.
I mean, he was fucking Mitzi and doing some blow right
Yeah.
up there on Doheny, you know.
Doheny. That sounds like a magician's name, Doheny, dude.
I bet when they were doing blow, they go, let's paint his hair pink.
Yeah. You know, Mitzi was in love with Richard.
Yeah.
Mitzi loved his dusty
Supposedly he's the only guy that told her not to eat those tongue sandwiches, right? The ones you get ordered at the deli for her.
She listened to anything he said.
That's gross. I have a
Yeah.
question. I have a question personally.
Okay.
Dominic Dunn
Oh, Dominic Dunn.
wrote a book called Another City Not My Own, which is one of my favorite books.
a good book.
It's about the whole OJ
And
trial
he
and
interviewed
everything.
me.
And he interviewed you, and you made it, or he quoted you in there talking
really good
about
book.
when you were about to leave to go do the interview with Dominic. Richard said something to you about don't tell any of our stories or something like that, right? Because it was like there was this understanding between interracial couples in Hollywood. True? Do you remember that?
I kind of.
He said something like, "You better not tell tales out of school or something like that. Don't.
And of course I do.
Yeah.
I wrote a book.
Right. But there was this
good book,
understanding
check
of
it
being
out.
an interracial couple and being
I read
a
it,
white
dude.
wife to a black entertainer
Right.
that you just don't speak about any of that. Do you remember that at all?
I kind of don't because, but listen, I'm gonna go home and pull that book out and read it. I mean,
It's so crazy because when that one show with Cuba Gooding Jr. came out about the OJ trial, and it just, to me, it just like totally, that book like blocks it even with more detail, because that was a good show, but that's even like day by day by day.
You know what? My friend was Richard Pryor, one of Richard Pryor's last drivers. Freddie Soto.
Freddie, I love Freddie.
And Freddie Soto, we
Oh,
loved
fuck,
him.
Rest
I
in
can't
peace,
stand
dude.
that he's gone.
Yeah, man.
Freddie and Richard had a real connection.
Yeah,
he was
they
such
did.
A
He
sweetheart.
said something
Yeah.
funny to him.
He said
was
something
so
funny to him,
sweet.
man. And we used to call Freddie Soto the rock and roll pig. Anyways,
Yeah, man.
Freddie Soto told us this funny story, and I don't know if it's true. He said that he drove Richard Pryor to a Whoopi Goldberg party, and then he was just standing next to him, right? And then but he kept noticing Paul Mooney taking pies in his car all day, like he was taking all the pies home.
Typical. It's true.
Yeah, and
start a pie
then
company.
Freddie Soto goes,
Yeah, Paul
he goes,
Mooney's
why are you
that kind
taking
of
all the
brother."
pies home? This bitch can afford more.
Marie Callender's.
He was taking all the pies to his car,
What
bro.
kind of pies? I wanna-
All the pies.
Key lime, rhubarb, everything.
I'm hungry, bro.
You know, okay, now that you open that
Yeah.
can of worms, I mean,
But he
let's
took
talk
the
about Paul fucking Mooney. You want to talk about
Let's
Paul
talk
Mooney?
about Miss Thing.
Miss Thing. Exactly. How many kids do you have to prove you're not gay?
Damn.
That's a lot of fools today,
Hey,
huh?
Pride Month, baby.
That was last month.
But you know what's funny? I heard a rumor one time that Paul Mooney got into a fight with who, Lisa? With David Allen Greer over Lori Petty.
He my man.
Oh yeah, no, because
They love her?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he loved her, but I knew there was a connection. I mean, and Laura, I'll tell you one thing: Laura loved Paul. She adored him. So, and I like Laura. I think she's a real bitch. I do. I think she hangs. I mean, she.
That's crazy, bro. David Allen Greer and Paul Mooney fighting over Lori Petty, bro.
Petty.
Lori Petty. Sounds petty to me.
She reminded me of my swim instructor.
So what's up with Paul Mooney, man?
So, man, here's my beef with Paul. And
I wrote everything.
Yeah.
Give me some Paul Mooney, bro. I wrote everything.
Okay, there you go. There you go. And I was around for Live in Concert, Live on Sunset. I was there, okay? And I'm here to tell you, no, she didn't.
Give me some Paul Mooney to say he wrote everything,
And
bro.
by the way,
I gotta talk
Richard,
to my attorneys.
and Richard, as you know, is real as fuck, right?
Yeah.
So one day he's showing people through the house in Northridge. He goes up to his office. There's an atrium. He says, "Hey, there's the atrium." And Paul's in tow. And Paul goes, "Hey, this is the room where I fucked Paul."
Damn.
True story.
Whoa.
Well-known story. And Richard tells it. Richard tells the truth. Right? Oh, no. Miss Thing doesn't want to know about the truth.
He almost fainted, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Fell off the banister.
Oh,
and
yeah,
shit.
exactly. But he and somebody who shall remain nameless with the initials of EM used to tour Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
Did you hear those stories?
Oh, yeah.
Martin Brando?
EM. Elizabeth Martini. I don't know who that is.
Oh, I was thinking about Marlon Brando because I heard a rumor about
no,
that.
No, that's not a rumor. That's true. Quincy tells that truth. Quincy got so much shit for that. I called him. I said, Q, are you okay? He goes, Jennifer, they're coming at me. I told the truth. We'd go in, we'd bossa nova, and we'd go out and we'd hang and we'd do some blow, and then we'd come back, and yeah.
Give some Godfather having sex, bro.
Yeah. So fucking what? They were.
Look
it
what
was
you
this.
did to my penis.
You come
That's your penis.
you come in my face on the day of my daughter's wedding.
Fuck, dude. That's like,
Very
dude,
good.
those fools were down as fuck, huh?
On that
That's
first
good.
one, Live and Smoking, Richard talks about sucking dick.
Yeah.
So it's not like
Yeah,
he was
because
hiding
one
it.
of the hardest things for me to read
That's ahead of its time
was that
right there, dude.
one of the hardest things for
Yeah.
me to read and then listen to it in an audiobook was the last book that we read, remember?
Was that hard for you, Felipe? Why?
No, when he said that the guy that used to bully and make him blow him showed up
At
with his
8
son.
years old, yeah.
Showed up to his son to get an autograph, bro.
On the movie
And
set
like
of,
to show that
On the
much,
movie set.
to show that much fucking
JoJo Dancer.
restraint, you know.
I
That takes
know.
a lot. That takes a lot, man.
And
like,
by the way, he sent Paul Mooney home.
Oh,
because
yeah?
Paul Mooney seduced Richard Pryor Jr.
oh my God.
And Richard Pryor Jr. speaks the truth. When Richard died, I had a big luncheon afterwards. Richard Pryor Jr. stood up and he said, Paul Mooney fucked me.
Damn.
Okay?
damn.
You heard it
so,
here first.
So here's the deal. Okay,
Second.
so, what I don't like is Paul's hypocrisy and his lies. If you want to fuck, who cares, right?
Right.
Love who you love, fuck who you fuck. It's okay.
My mama don't know I'm gay.
But
That's the
At different times, for sure. People are afraid to come out.
Yeah, that's my bit.
No, but it's
Yeah,
just crazy.
true.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's still like it's so like ingrained in
You
your
know,
fucking head that even up to 2023
Jennifer,
or
you're
2017,
gonna believe this, but
who died.
well, you're gonna believe this. How everything is believable. But when I used to go to the Hollywood
improv.
Hollywood Valley Spa, anyways, right? There used to be a black lady there, and she used to wear Richard Paul Mooney shirt all the time, right?
Let me
And
see
she used to
your
work
ding
out,
ding.
and then somebody said, "That's a nice shirt," and she said, "That's my husband."
Yvonne.
Yeah, she was working out at Bally's. Was that really his wife?
Yeah, Yvonne.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I used to see her. I only saw her there at the gym, and I saw her also when they had the Thanksgiving at the Laugh Factory and the Christmas at the Laugh
Right.
Factory.
That's not the twins' mom, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, she's the
She
twins'
is.
mom.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, bro, that woman, whatever she age she was back then, she looked good for her, whatever age
She
she
died
was.
of terrible
yeah?
Alzheimer's. It was horrible.
Oh,
Alzheimer's?
damn, dude.
Yeah. Years ago. Yeah.
Oh, all is forgotten.
Did you know
Yeah,
that?
they should-
that,
I should remember.
You love dogs, right?
Yeah, I love
Okay, I'm
dogs.
going to tell you the last negative story because we should get off the negative, right? Here
Yeah.
about Paul, although it's the truth. So I got a phone call because I run a 501c3, by the way, for dog rescue. I have 8 dogs in my house. I mean, I'm a lover of dogs.
Ah.
Okay, yeah.
she was on Dog Whisperer too. With
Yeah.
Caesar
Were you
Milan.
really?
On Caesar, yeah.
Say it louder,
yeah.
you didn't hear.
Yeah.
She was on
Caesar
Caesar Milan,
Milan. Yeah.
Dog
Milan.
Whisperer.
I have
He's-
3 dogs.
Break yourself, fool.
I might get a
Yeah,
fourth
I
one. I
got
don't
pit
know.
bulls. I got everything in there, but they're all rescues. But so I get a call one day from North Central saying, Jennifer, we've got a call, and it's coming from Paul Mooney's house, and it's about or the neighbors of Paul Mooney. It's about. Long story short, he abused a whole gang of dogs. Okay. Guess who rescued all of them? And he called me and goes, they're racist. They're trying to make me out. I said, Paul, shut the fuck up. Because you know what? I'm saving your ass. You're about to go to jail for what you've done to those animals. And I'm going to save them and rehome them. And I did.
Wow.
And I've never told that story before publicly, by the way. And that
Nobody don't
motherfucker fucked with those dogs in a way that was horrible. Ghetto style, throw them on the dirt and feed the dogs. Ghetto as a... And I wasn't having it. And
That's probably who you taking those pies to, bro, to dogs. To,
Oh, few of the dogs. Yeah.
brothers don't love dogs.
He was probably taking all those pies to those dogs.
Give him a little puppuccino,
Yeah, dude, those are.
a payachino.
I try one. They're good.
Oh, anyways, Freddie Soto told me this funny story because Freddie Soto. Look him up. Freddie put his picture up.
he's a good guy.
He
oh, God,
he was from
a
El Paso.
legend.
He said that he said he was driving Richard Pryor, and then he asked Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor asked him, "What do you do besides drive me?" "Oh, I'm a comedian too, Mr. Pryor." What did Richard Pryor say?
Paul Rodrigo is trying to get his whole family into comedy.
He said Paul Rodrigo trying to
Did
get
he
his
say
whole
that?
family to comedy.
That's funny.
That's what Freddie Soto told
That's
us.
funny.
And another time he said that
Hilarious, dude.
he said that he didn't know how fragile Richard Pryor was at the time, and he didn't help him sit. He didn't help him sit in the car. He just let go and he sat down. "You motherfucking Mexican! I sat on my motherfucking balls." So he didn't get time to split his balls.
Adjust his-
He sat on his balls. He said,
That hurts, bro.
You got long balls?
I got long balls. Yeah. dude.
One thing I want to plug a bit is I
ball
started
pin.
I started running the Richard Pryor YouTube channel. I opened up the official
God,
YouTube
yeah,
channel,
Hell
and
yeah.
on there I just uploaded today is an American Cinematheque celebration of Richard where Paul Rodriguez is hosting. It's at the Comedy Store.
"Hell yeah!"
So it's got Paul Rodriguez, and the funniest segment I
He's a
think
sweetheart.
was when Gilbert Gottfried. So Gilbert Gottfried goes on stage and does a little bit there. I won't spoil it, but if you go on
Gilbert
YouTube, yeah, it's sad to see all these comedians pass away. Louis Anderson and Bob Saget and all this. So that's why.
You got to take care of yourself, Felipe.
"Oh yeah, man! I don't drink.
Hey, She taking care
I can't
of
afford hookers.
you.
What's up, fool? On that book, also it said that they couldn't get Pam Grier to leave the house.
Oh my God! Oh,
Because,
God, you mentioned it. You triggering me on everything, dude.
Because they were talking about how
Grease
how
lightning
Pam
over here.
Grier was just like I don't know, man, just like just a Hollywood starlet, bro. And she didn't know where to go, I guess.
She, first of all, okay, props to Pam, okay. She don't like me, I'll tell you that. Because every time I do a goddamn...
We love you.
I appreciate that.
Come back anytime.
I want to. I intend to. But every time I do a documentary or something, I reach out to Pam. Can you... No, she didn't want any part. But when Richard's grandma came to live with us in Northridge, that grandma hated me, okay? Just telling you like it is. She did not like me because I'm a white girl, right? I was a girl, now I'm a woman. But she sent a woman in one day to correct me with a 2x4 over my legs.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
It was Lunel.
But you know who she loved? She loved Pam. She wanted Richard to marry Pam.
Damn.
Pam was a black lady, And I don't fault her. She grew up, she grew up in a horrible time period. It was that racist goddamn 30s and 40s. I mean, shit. I get it. But I used to listen to country music. John Prine was my favorite. And she said, that girlfriend of yours is listening to that lynching music again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're trying to cancel you in the 70s, huh?
Yeah. I mean, but she did grow up in that Jim Crow era. So
that's hardcore.
I understood,
Yeah.
What I like about all the books, one of the books that I read was when Richard Pryor lived in the Valley. Because I live in the Valley and I live in Granada Hills. And I'm almost there, because I remember like how I thought how cool it was that he had a pear tree and an orange tree and a lemon
gorgeous.
tree. Yes, that's the part that I fell in love with, and that's
so
the part that
beautiful.
stuck in my dream. You know what? I'm not gonna make it unless I have all those trees.
It was so beautiful. I mean, and I know that's what he gravitated to. There were orange trees. It was like an orange grove in the front yard. There was a big lot, this house on Parthenia. And I remember going there the first day, and there was a pomegranate tree. And the pomegranates hung like teardrops, hanging from this tree. And, I mean, it was gorgeous property, and I know that spoke to him. Richard had an elegance about him. When we went to Hana, man, let me tell you, there was... it wasn't Hollywood. It was out of the scene. It was so. And when I saw him in Hana, I realized this guy had such a serenity at his core and an elegance that's who he was. He wanted to live there and be that. Of course, we'd go back to Hollywood, and it all started, craziness and lawyers and managers and telling him what to do and. Fame, as Kenya Barra says, and this is a really good insight that I appreciate, fame is traumatic.
Yeah, man. How wild was Freddie Prinze? Because I felt like every time we saw this documentary and I'm in it, it felt like every young comic now that wants to emulate. There's some comics that wanted to emulate what's the name?
Freddie.
Like guy from fucking Chris Farley, like another comic.
That's right.
And then Chris Farley wanted to emulate John Belushi.
And
then so on and so on. But Richard Pryor, bro, man, goddamn.
He was one of the first. He was
Freddie
one of his
Prinze
first, yeah.
wanted to be Richard Pryor, bro. Like if you were listening to the old bits of Freddie Prinze, he just made him some Puerto Rican.
Yeah. They loved each other. There was they
shot guns together, right?
They shot guns together, and there's a rumor about the gun that Freddie used.
Oh my gosh. He lived fast. He got famous fast. He passed away at 22. So he right out of high school he started doing. He went on the Tonight Show. It's insane, bro.
I saw a documentary where they said that Freddie Prinze, he was all pissed off when he saw John Travolta in Teen Beat because he used to be on it.
He was an actual teen.
Yeah, no, because Freddie Freddie Prinze got pissed that John Travolta was now in other magazines because they used to be him. So he was standing over there on Beverly and the Valley in that big fucking bookstore, and then stand by his picture.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know, and they shared a manager in common, Ron de Blasio.
Ron de Blasio, bro.
Still around, right?
Ron de Blasio.
He used to manage George Lopez.
And he manages
Fluffy. Who? Gabriel Iglesias.
Donald, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, George. Okay.
Hey, bro, how many fake Richard Pryor songs have came out of the woodwork, bro? Do comedy.
Sons of
it was
comedy?
a fake Eddie Murphy's.
Oh, okay.
The fake Eddie Murphy's that
It was
came
a
out.
fake Eddie Murphy's son doing stand-up.
I know all about it.
Because they did the tour. I remember.
He went with Richard Pryor
He
too.
went, Mason. It was
Mason
like around
Pryor?
2012. They were doing the Sons of Comedy
Wait a
tour.
minute. Franklin Mason is his real son.
Yeah, no. But Eddie Murphy's fake son
Right.
went on tour with Mason. Because
Yes.
I used to do open mics with Mason. I remember.
Yeah. I remember that story. It was fucked up, man.
Yeah, because he did look like him. He did look like Eddie Murphy. Brando Murphy.
So I got to tell you a quick story. Okay, a quick story.
I love Mason.
EM Jr.
Hey, you know what? I do too now. But here, quick story. And talk about healing and mending. Okay. So,
what it's all
Richard
about.
died December 10th, 2005. And I get hit with papers like this,
Holy
from
shit.
from the kids. Okay, they're going to sue my ass. Okay. They got a trust fund. What the fuck? What's the problem here? Okay, they wanted more. All right, whatever. Okay, so they sue my ass. Okay, gotta get a lawyer, gotta go through this shit. They lose in every court. Then they go to this court, they lose. Then they go to this court, they lose. Then they go. Okay.
We're going to the People's Court.
We'll go to Judy Shineline, whatever. Yeah, we'll go to her court exactly. And so it was a horrible time. It was very upsetting to go through that. Now all the kids were involved except the two younger ones, and the two younger ones were not Franklin, although Franklin is one of the younger ones, but it was Stephen and Kelsey. And they communicate with me, and they're sweet. They're Flynn's children. Franklin was part of that other contingent that went after me. Recently, Franklin reaches out to me on IG, right? And I'm like, Franklin, yo, hi, what you doing? He goes, I'm in the army in Germany.
Damn.
Where his dad was stationed, right?
Franklin. Yep. And I said, what the fuck? And
fucking crazy.
And
dude.
he said, Jennifer, I got all the worst of my dad and not the best. I was a junkie. I was losing friends and family. And I had to leave the business and join the army, where I'm disciplined and I really love it. I said, well, I'm proud of you. And he just reached out to me, which I couldn't believe, because that contingent was like, oh, they were persona non grata.
I'm sure they came at you like a pack of wolves.
Oh, honey, not only that, they went on a campaign with all the brothers and sisters, okay? And I'm a white girl, even though I'm related to John Brown. Hello. And my father was a civil rights attorney, but they came at me with guns ablazing. Roseanne Barr.
They came at her with the guns of Navarone.
Exactly. Totally. But, so it was really sweet, when he came at me, with kind of, not necessarily his hat in his hand, but in a very real, authentic way. And I was very pleased about that. And I said, hey, if you ever want to get back in the business, he said, no, I don't. I said, if you do, I'll help. I'll help you. First of all, I'll coach you, because I was there. I can tell you, dude, because the thing that buried him was that Steve Harvey thing in Harlem at the Apollo.
When he bombed?
Did you see that?
Yeah, it was pretty hardcore.
It was hardcore sad.
Yeah, it was brutal.
It was tragic. There
was only 2 ways to go, either that way or greatness, and
For reals?
But you know what? He
Check it out,
could
dude.
have
It's on
grabbed
YouTube.
it. He could have said, I'm at the bottom of the barrel. And I wrote to him and I said, dude, talk about how your mom and dad got together. That's funny. Talk about the truth about how your mom threw with the birth control pills away and got knocked up. And, talk about that.
Well, I think a comedian named Corey Holcomb was all, you gotta go out there and talk. Your mama was a hoe.
The mama had 3 babies that Richard, when I came back, I had to cut all the money was
Umbilical cord?
The fake babies?
The money was hemorrhaging, and there were all these baby mamas on payroll, right? And I'm like, payroll, child support.
Payroll.
But payroll.
Oh shit, dude.
So I go.
Let me get a raise.
Yeah, no, and I say, hey, look, we got to lower the child support, and she had this one baby mama had 3 babies that Richard was supporting, and he didn't know it.
Damn.
Didn't know it. And, and I had to bust them all. We went to court. I kept Richard off the stand because he had MS. And, and I had made an offer financially, and they turned me down. They got less than what I had offered.
Hilarious.
They fucking got less than what I offered.
Damn.
The fuck?
Like the saying goes, no good deed goes unpunished.
Their lawyer was wearing Converse.
But they were on a campaign to get me.
Yeah, because there was like press a little bit with
Oh,
that.
they were going to get the white bitch. They were going to get me. I'm this horrible person.
got our
Except
money.
I was the one taking him to the doctors. I was the one taking care of him. I was the one who went and sued and protected his legacy.
He was pretty much abandoned at that time when you came back.
When you were
he wasn't.
when you were at parties, did you ever like avoid getting drinks from Bill Cosby?
Those are the best drinks.
If Richard Pryor was alive, he probably would have had 3 hours just on Bill Cosby.
Man.
That was my teacher.
Oh my God.
Oh, I can't believe I was trying to emulate him.
Oh my God. Oh my God. By the way,
Horrible Richard Pryor.
Quaaludes are a fine drug.
What are Quaaludes?
Oh man.
They relax you,
one,
bro,
eh?
and get you horny, dog. You know what I mean?
Really?
Chill out.
Quaaludes
No,
are
I've never. That's what I've heard.
Quaaludes are the ones that Leonardo DiCaprio
Did you
did
ever
in
take
The
a
Wolf of
Quaalude?
Wall Street.
Felipe, did you
Never.
ever?
Oh.
Okay, let me
Before
tell
my
you
time,
something.
just Xanax.
So, when anybody
that's
asks me what was your
Oxycontin.
drug of choice, Quaalude. That motherfucker. Oh my God.
And you got those at the liquor store, or like in
Hell no,
Tijuana,
This
or what?
guy.
Oh no. I
don't know.
You got them outside Hong Kong, bro.
Go over here with
Abuelitas.
migrant drugs.
You
Over
gotta
here.
go to a pharmacy in Mexico and just get them right there.
Oh, don't go to. No, not me anymore. They're
Not
all
anymore.
fentanyl. Fuck.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
No.
I took
No, but Quaaludes were the jam. Quaaludes were the jam.
You took them before?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Well, are they as strong as that? Like in that movie, The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yes!
Leonardo DiCaprio,
that
the way he
scene!
takes them and he's walking like this. Is that the truth?
That scene is brilliant. That scene, I can't.
Turn into a sound wave. Fool.
That
turn into
scene,
a werewolf?
everybody's
Oh, my God.
got to
Did you see the
Google that
movie?
scene
I
of
remember seeing-
Leo
yeah.
DiCaprio on Quaaludes in Wolf of Wall Street. That scene is the best scene ever. He did it fab. Somebody gave him a fucking Quaalude.
In real life, so he knew.
I'm sure he dabbles.
Those
right?
Quaaludes were
That
old
good life?
Quaaludes too, bro.
The funniest thing is I took Jennifer to meet Joey Diaz for the podcast.
That's right, cocksucker. We were
So-
there shooting the breeze.
It was hilarious to see Jennifer and Joey reminisce about Quaaludes because Joey
Wow.
was all.
My mother used to give me Quaaludes. Go to sleep. I got a little freaky, start dancing and shit.
Before NyQuil. Wait, they discontinued Quaaludes?
Hell
oh,
yeah,
fuck
bro.
yeah, they had to. It was called the Love.
That and ephedrine.
Well, dude, when you hear the love drug, bro.
love you.
Robberies of
And they're exactly.
Drugstore
They wrote
cowboy,
a
homie?
It
a
was
song
called-
about it. They were called Mama's Little Helpers.
Yeah, it was called the Love Drug, baby. I mean,
Valium.
And people started dying.
So it got people horny, like both sexes,
Oh.
like guys.
And
and
Jennifer
girls?
said people started dying like some of her friends died.
Yeah. Oh, mean. I mean.
It was bad, right? What did you say that movie
An
was?
epidemic, really.
Ludes, the movie Ludes. Remember that movie Ludes?
The movie The Boost with James
The
Woods.
Boost was James Woods.
Based on a book by Ben Stein called Ludes.
Ludes.
That's a good ass
Ludes.
movie,
Wait,
dude.
Ludes.
Anybody that hates on James Wood, just watch that movie, bro.
I hate James Woods, so
I
I hate him. He's
I
a
under-
fucking piece of shit,
I under-
Republican
I
piece of
understand
shit.
you.
Ah.
But the
That's
movie's
a good ass
good.
movie, yeah.
So is El Salvador.
Oh, bro.
Felipe, am I too extreme?
No, you're
Nah,
awesome.
hell no.
We love you. Come back anytime.
The book was
About
We'll
Ludes.
buy more shirts.
Because that was kind of like, Ludes was like the pre-cocaine in America, right?
Yeah, but the book was
Kinda-
about that guy's
At the same time, but I mean,
Well,
Quaaludes?
it was pre.
The
'cause
Richard
I'm
doing
living
Ludes too?
in New York in the 70s, and Ludes hit it. And New York Post was like, the love drug.
No wonder they say he was a lewd. He was arrested for lewd acts.
Who?
Hey.
People say he was arrested for lewd acts. Quaaludes.
Who? Which who?
Richard Pryor. No, I'm sorry. Rodney Danger had a joke like that. He was arrested for lewd acts.
what are you
Quaaludes.
alluding to? Huh?
Oh, alluded to.
Is that
Okay,
the
got
Spanish
it.
fly? The same drug?
No.
What was the Spanish fly? I always heard
Spanish
It was
about
fly
made
Bill
up, bro.
Cosby's
Bill
thing.
Cosby, dog.
That was Bill Cosby's drug.
You don't remember nothing?
First album, right? Yeah.
That's right.
what a creepo, dude.
Bill Cosby. So
roofie, basically.
Yeah.
My
What a fucking.
But-
my first
Sicko.
album I listened to of Richard Pryor was with my friend, if you're listening, Emilio Garcia of fucking Monterey Park on Garvey Street.
Homie.
He fucking
JJ's Cafe.
he fucking put a record player, bro. He put on Richard Pryor, The N-Word is Crazy, bro. The one about Dracula, and you can never get a ambulance in the ghetto unless you say 5 black people killing a white woman. Where's the body? Yes, right here, man. This is probably the best comedy album of all time. Like, I don't care what you listen to or where you at. This is the best comedy album of all time. Every joke that you probably say you think you wrote, it came from this album.
Oh, brother!
Like everything, every like, oh man, the first person to make fun of a white person's voice is in this album.
And they all do it now, right?
Yeah, the first person to say to make fun of cops always being nice to white people only is right here. And you know what? Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. That's why Richard is still relevant.
And you know what? Just notice that he has an X on it. Like in that book, it says that he went to a couple of Malcolm X speeches.
Yeah, he did. He did. Now,
that was recorded live in Oakland, right?
And the colors are
that's a
badass.
Because
dude.
I don't want to get.
I'll send this over to you.
I don't want to get back to Paul Mooney, but in that book we read, it said that Paul Mooney took him to Oakland so he could learn how to be black or something like that, right? In reference to
with Huey P. Newton and all that stuff.
So here's the deal. So after I've denigrated Paul Mooney and trashed him,
after Richard left the hotel, the Las Vegas off stage.
That's right. Okay, so he goes up north, and Paul Mooney was an influencer. Okay, if you'd call him that today, and he's an influencer, but that's all he was. He didn't fucking write shit. But
was he like a nurse at that time or something like that?
No, he wasn't a nurse.
Okay.
You know, even though he said he didn't do drugs, he was a big nipper. Okay, he was a big nipper. By the way, I could use another nip.
We didn't know a nip here.
What's a nipper is a drink.
Just you dabble, you put on your teeth. You're still getting high, but you say you don't get high.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and he was just such a hypocrite. But at any rate, to his credit, he did take him up north. But Richard gravitated to the intellectuals anyway. He found all those brilliant black people. He found all those playwrights. He found Huey Newton. He found the Black Panthers. That was Richard's energy.
Because even before all that, like, I mean, even with Lady Sings the Blues, that movie right
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And it's just like, he already kind of knew about the jazz scene, the Roaring 20s, because that's when he came out of in Peoria.
Of course he
At
did.
that time, it was the city.
You're right, brother. You're right, brother, because that's the brothel. You're talking about the brothel in the 30s, 40s, 50s that redounds to that age.
Yes, we were at the Milwaukee Improv on last week, and they were showing the 50th anniversary of the Improv, and the first video they showed was Richard Pryor, huh?
Yeah, dude. And I was gonna just
that
say that,
right?
like,
Yeah, they show him at the Improv with his little sweater and his little.
and that's live. That's a clip from Live and Smoking.
Looking like a Blackmore saw right there. And he's doing.
Was this different than Live and Smoking?
No, just a clip format because it was
clip.
like
It was Improv, and it says Improv Cafe.
Yeah, it's written in like chalk
Right.
on a little wooden little.
I heard a story, man, about the Improv that there was a woman that was
I love you.
There was a woman at the Improv that was heckling, bro, right? And Beth Midler was on stage, and Beth Midler was like a comic, but mostly a singer trying to get her a break.
You're a wing.
And they were like heckling her, bro. Like it was a bad audience. And he said that Richard Pryor, on the book, I said that Richard Pryor got butt naked, bro, and sat next to that lady or did something naked, right?
What you mean?
Went up on stage to
try
distract.
To try to stop the negativity.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
And freak that
He
bitch
had
out.
a heart.
And freak that bitch out.
Felipe, you really loved Richard.
Yeah, they always said that he was great with female comics.
He was kind.
Yeah, kind.
You know, Richard was kind. Richard was kind. He was generous. He was giving. He also could be a motherfucker. But he was basically, at his core, he was a good human being.
Like you, I was gonna just real quick when you mentioned Lily Tomlin with he did that bum character.
Lily,
she kind of brought him up to ABC and all that stuff, like right
did.
before everything.
She did.
Or like just the before he went mainstream.
Lily Tomlin loved Richard Pryor. Lily to this day, she's such a sweet love. I adore her. She reveres him and holds him in such high regard because
seen his comic genius. Like
she saw it. She saw it. You're right. She saw it. and to highlight him and to introduce him basically. And then Bert Sugarman, obviously was smart enough to say, let's do a show, and that was great. But Lily, to this day, she sees me and she goes, Jennifer, and she just latches onto me, and it's such love and it's such camaraderie, because that's where she comes from too. She comes from a very authentic place too, and she's marginalized. She's a gay woman, and comedy, excuse me, Felipe, but you guys don't adore women comics. Am I right?
Nope.
No,
I think for the most part, a lot of comedians don't.
I do, but
we do here.
They're great. There's so many funny ones, dude.
Now there are. No, like I love female comedy. I give them all a break, but what she's saying is that Richard Pryor saw the funny in people. Like, nobody saw Sandra Bernhard till Richard Pryor put her on his show.
That's right.
Yeah.
She was just like an out cop,
That's
what
right.
people consider an alternative comic now. And Richard Pryor, bro, if you watch that show, he was the first dude to do like a sketch, like a heavy metal guy, and throw drugs into the audience.
That's hilarious.
That's right.
Which, by the way,
right.
if you go to the Richard Pryor YouTube channel, I'm uploading clips of the Richard Pryor show, so you can see all the sketches. The first black president, that sketch, Black Dad. And another thing that
It was a brilliant, brilliant show.
I was wondering, did you guys know that Richard Pryor had his own children's TV show?
But you know that we were fucking angry when we went to go see Car Wash, and fucking Richard Pryor was only on for 10 seconds. That's how angry we were.
It was a good 10 seconds.
Yeah, I was angry, bro. I wanted more.
Did they promote the movie?
George Carlin was on more, bro. He was chasing a fucking hooker on through the whole movie.
Did they promote the movie as if he was gonna be in the whole movie the whole time?
Hell yeah. And he was in every trailer.
Dude.
Just like Paul Rodriguez in Born in East LA, bro. I thought he was going to be more of Paul.
Yeah.
That's
He ended up being
hilarious.
only in the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus está en Tijuana.
Classic movie.
Have you been to his statue in Peoria? The big
Bro, we
Richard
went to
Pryor?
Peoria.
Have you been to his statue? The
Yeah.
Richard Pryor statue?
Yeah, we have.
There was an old man at the hotel we were staying in, and he goes, "Where you guys want to go?" He goes, "Man, just take us around where Richard Pryor grew up."
Rudy.
And he just took us around where that school he went to.
That he took us to
Washington
where,
Carver.
Yeah.
and he took it into the community center where
Yeah.
he kind of was first doing
Yeah.
his, like,
Yeah.
just theater,
As
and
a
also
kid.
where his Uncle Dickie had the
Uncle
had the little
Dickie.
gambling hall.
Uncle Dickie!
And he's all, "How you doing all this, young man?" I'm all, "I read Prior Convictions,
my
dude."
God.
And then
Read
and,
my book.
and I will, and
I talk about Uncle Dickie because he was a fabulous character.
and I heard Richard says he's funny as fuck. Mr. Pryor says.
Fucking and
Yeah.
old school pimp.
Yeah,
He said one day, we're that goddamn David Franklin manager. You know what we do with him? We'd throw him in jail. We'd throw him against the wall and fuck him. I mean, he was so hardcore, but you gotta love those people.
'Cause
That
in
was Rich's people. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. But in that first special, he mentions, like, just life in the brothel, about a white man will come in there and, like, "You have these little kids that'll cover you up with ice cream and we can lick it off." Yeah, he was a mayor. And just because
Vote for me, bro.
Like looking through the keyhole, just watching all those acts and soaking it all in, I guess,
Exactly.
Someone who I recently, as I'm working with the Richard Pryor stuff, that I found out as a big fan that I thought was really awesome is David Lynch. And if you watch, I think Lost Highway.
he has a
Richard
part
is
in
there.
Yeah. And that's like, I mean, like, if you're a hardcore Richard Pryor fan, you can, you catch that. And that was like the 90s right there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
darling, it was after we got back. They contacted me. They said, "Can he do this?" I said, "He'll do it. He'll be there. He'll do it. He'll get it." Because he's David Lynch. I mean, if anything isn't David Lynch, Richard Pryor is fucking David Lynch.
hell yeah.
And it was an interesting shoot.
Man,
Yeah.
remember when they're doing the Richard Pryor roast? My favorite line is when he looks over at Big Dunlop and he goes, "And now, last and most likely least, Big Dunlop."
Old school.
Old school.
Oh man, you're making me miss Richard so
Man, and we went to
Oh God.
he was in that movie, that badass movie with Eddie Murphy and everybody.
Harlem Nights.
Harlem Nights, yeah.
Classic.
Well, did you
Oh
did
my
you hear me
gosh.
not say EM?
Yeah, Eddie Murphy.
Hell yeah. Yeah, baby.
It's all under
Bro,
wraps.
were you there at Richard Pryor's one of his last shows when he went to the Comedy Store and Al Pacino was there, De Niro, with all the big shots went to go see him.
So when I came back, I came back in '94, and Richard was sick, and I had seen him because was back living in New York, and I went and visited him, and he said, Jennifer, I'm in trouble, I need help, and I came back, and I'm like a couple of trips to come back to see what I was dealing with, right? And when I came back, it was like, okay, what are we dealing with here? What are we, what's the problem? And it was a big problem. It was a big mess, and it was like, well, how are we going to fix this? How can we rearrange this? How can we make this lemons into lemonade, right? And that's when we started the box set for Rhino.
Yes,
and
that's a red cover.
Too.
I remember, because we when we were at the we were in Peoria at the Jukebox Comedy Club. All his album was just released. All of them at one box set. Remember, it was there. It was Richard Pryor in black sweater with a red background.
That's
and
right.
It had all the albums there.
That's right.
That you were part of that.
That was that. Oh God, yeah.
Because that was like the best box set ever.
I produced that. We got a Grammy. I mean,
get that, people.
Yeah, no, that is like old school. And you got to come to a RichardPryor.com website, post about buy it because
RichardPryor.com website, man.
Because
it's right here on the link.
They didn't want to sell it anymore. They said we're not going to store it anymore. I said I'll buy the motherfuckers and I'll sell it.
Fuck
which I am doing.
Also, man, this always bugged me, and I know it was taken from Richard Pryor's life, because I know that Chevy Chase, when he got the Comedian of the Year, he felt like, I gotta have Richard Pryor, because he knew that Richard Pryor really was the funniest motherfucker of the year, right? But I always thought that when in Caddyshack, when his character brings over a girl to the hotel, his room, and his hotel is all disheveled, right? Chevy Chase's character is all disheveled, and then she picks up a check and looks over at Chevy Chase, goes, "You have an uncashed check here of $76,000. But also Richard Pryor had a bunch of uncashed checks too, right? In his house.
Oh, I have them all.
Yes. But that's what I think, that Chevy Chase must have heard a story about Richard Pryor having uncashed checks all over the floor, so they threw that into Caddyshack.
Yeah,
and it was
kind of shitty, right?
That's what I think. Would you ever think about that?
And it was all royalties?
No,
not really.
No.
I
always thought it was
weird.
What?
No, I didn't think about that. But the only reason I ever thought about the checks was the owner of the club at the Jukebox Comedy Club in Peoria, Illinois, said he had a bunch of already cashed checks that he bought after they sold them from the state or something like that.
Everyone's selling memorabilia,
totally.
like crazy, right? And that's why policing it is like, oh. So I pay this lady $2,000 a month to fucking police and just watch trademark. Because I don't want you fucking infringing on Richard Pryor.
I'm sure it's an endless pursuit.
It totally. And
yes,
it doesn't,
man.
And it's always, sometimes it's like, okay, you're not doing it. Now I got to get a lawyer letter. Now I got to pay that lawyer. But I'll do it. Because,
yes.
That's what it takes. And, I got to tell you something. When Richard asked me to come back to take care of him, he knew I'm Irish. He said, that Irish bitch got some big shoulders. And she know how to fight. Okay?
Well,
she know how.
It goes, I think it was Uncle Dickie that had
and
that
Irish,
joke.
And Irish are...
Turn inside out.
Say the word because I ain't black. I can't say it.
Oh, no. The Irish are niggas to turn inside out.
That's what he said. That's what he said
Quoting here.
That's what he said to Richard when I punched Richard in the nose. And Richard blocked the word out. He goes, what the fuck? The bitch
It's
hit
prior
me.
convictions, dude.
Show those dates.
Why'd the bitch hit me?
All right, man. Dude. June 30th to July 1st. That's next week.
She had turned inside out.
I'll be in Toledo, Ohio.
And you know what? If that's what I am, I'm happy for it because I got those big shoulders, and I will protect Richard until I die. And then I got to figure out who the fuck is going to protect him after.
Yeah, man.
Because I ain't got no kids, and I never wanted them. By the way.
What's up, fool? Philip, give us shows that Marlon Wayans clip.
Oh God!
What are they cutting out?
This is Marlon Wayans. He made his own clip one time because he wanted to.
He was such an asshole. That helped do him in.
He wants to submit himself as Richard Pryor. Look at him.
It helped do him in.
Was this for Winning Time?
No, for a movie.
Oh.
He tried to get the role of Richard Pryor with Bill Condon.
Play it.
For Winning Time.
No,
No,
No.
for the
It's old.
Richard Pryor
Oh,
story.
for bio-
The modern one.
For a
Oh.
biopic that never actually existed.
Well,
There-
and I'll tell you why it didn't exist. Because movies are hard fucking shit to make. And that didn't get made because Bill went and made another movie. And I said, you're leaving me at the altar, Bill? What the fuck? And he goes, I'm leaving you at the altar, okay. And this guy, he had, yeah. And I'll tell you what did it with me and with Marlon. And now Marlon's a nice guy. And no shit, he's a nice guy.
Here, get on the mic.
You don't know how to smoke a cigarette. You're telling me that this motherfucker gonna smoke freebase and gonna smoke a cigarette and don't know how to smoke a cigarette?
That's funny.
You want to watch it?
Play it, Phil. I'm gonna see it. Never.
Watch how we smoke a cigarette. I'm probably getting too drunk now.
One of the saddest things that,
Hey, me too. What?
that we found out was one of the hanger-ons. They took Richard's red suit from Live in from Sunset
I got
Strip.
the pants.
She has the pants.
Is
but
that
not the
shirt still
top.
missing then? How about the gold shoes?
Gone.
Missing?
I bought them. I bought all that. I dressed Richard. All gone.
I want that'll be a
Except I
badass
got the
suit to
pants.
have. The
I got the
lavender
pants.
sunset strip suit.
But I'm working with the Smithsonian, by the way. When I'm
love
to
the
fucking
Have you guys laugh? You want to laugh? Okay. Have you guys seen the Laugh Factory Museum in Long Beach? Have you seen Richard Pryor's statue?
Yeah, it looks. Yeah, dude.
It looks like Paul Rodriguez.
Everybody looks at Adam Sandler got stung by a bee.
Have you seen how they drew you at the improv?
Bro, I look like nothing. I look like Rosie O'Donnell,
The
bro.
beard.
That artist drew everybody fucked up, bro. At that
Is he
wall.
high?
I have another question, just because I think
'Cause she's
Jennifer
a-
is my spirit animal.
Exactly.
But what's it like?
Richie.
Okay, what's it like having? You've basically thrown your whole life behind Richard's career and life. How does it feel though, at this age and after so many years after his passing, that you've put pretty much your whole life has been protecting Richard's legacy and working on Richard's stuff? Like, do you have any other stuff of your own? You know what I mean?
You
Like,
are fucking nailing some shit.
you know what I mean?
Right
Like, because
But
did you
you're
lose
opening
yourself? Did you lose yourself
You're
in
opening
him?
a whole can of
Because
worms
that's
here.
I managed his
Okay.
career, and
I
we've been
see-
together for 16
I
years.
see that.
So you know what I mean? Like, how did that feel once he's gone? Like, what do you do with yourself? You know what I mean?
You know, that's really interesting. First of all, I see a therapist every week. Okay. Fuck yeah, I do. And by the way, she's been in Europe for the past 3 weeks, and I'm so resentful of it because I'm not in Europe. I have dogs I have to be home with. And I'm like, yeah, okay, sorry.
I love dogs.
I know, but that's the reality. So, I mean, that's a brilliant question. Your wife is brilliant.
Yeah, man.
The manager.
So I'm going to answer this in a really serious way because it deserves that. That deserves that answer. It's been a tangle with me recently. It's been like as if I've been submerged in that goddamn submarine.
Oh, hey, those guys are still stuck out there. I love them. I don't love. Do we love them?
No. Don't make jokes about him. They're dying. They're
know.
that is not okay to joke about. They are dying, and we must say some prayers for them. And I'm not fucking religious, but let's say whatever prayer you got in your heart
Hope
for
you
those
make it on
people.
all you guys.
Rodrigo, say the
Seriously. But I want to answer Lisa, right?
Yeah.
Tell me her name is Lisa.
Lisa.
Lisa, I got to answer you because you're so respectful, and I want to be respectful to you. And that is such an awesome question. It is difficult because it's like, oh my God, once again, I got to elevate another person, to a level, which, by the way, he deserves, right? As your husband deserves, as everyone deserves to be elevated to their level of talent and brilliance as you have connected to with your husband here too. So now what do we do with our own talent and our own brilliance? What the fuck do we do with it? Who are we? And that's a fucking son of a bitch. And I'll tell you right now, you got to be a feminist, and what is a feminist? A feminist is someone who just declares that, I am me, I am going to be me, I am going to embrace me, and I'm going to not negate me. So, it's difficult. And the book I wrote a memoir And it was the most liberating thing I could have ever done. But it's very difficult when you're dealing with a celebrity and a star. Felipe is a celebrity. He's a star. And he's obviously a brilliant comic. But it's very hard to sort of emerge and not submerge oneself. But it's very important to emerge. And by the way, while you're emerging yourself, you're emerging them. They don't even know it. They need help in knowing it, right? And they will benefit from the fact that you have got this insight and this clarity. But nevertheless, Richard is dead, right? He's dead for 2005, December 10th, 2005. Yeah,
18 years.
Yeah, I can't believe it's been that long.
Crazy.
But and it's hard for me to reconcile a lot of stuff, and I sometimes have anger. I'm like, oh God, why did you fucking destroy yourself on drugs, Richard? Why did you do this? Why did you treat me this way? Why did you do this? But I was there. I was complicit. I said yes. I love you. I am on board with you, Richard. And I rode that, and I took that journey.
Ride or die.
And I was ride or die.
Riding
And
that lightning.
And I don't regret it. I don't regret it.
What's up, Fool Podcast? We have Jennifer Lee Pryor right here. Go to the RichardPryor.com website, bro. What's the website, bro, for the pins?
For Rockin' Pins, follow me Instagram at Rockin' Pins.
And you're gonna release more movies, more albums.
We're gonna do screenings. Hopefully, we're gonna do screenings of Stir Crazy live in
can't wait to see
concert.
that, my favorite
Sunset
movie.
Strip. Trying to do some screenings at the Comedy Store. So
All right, man.
support.
What's up, Fool Podcast? Big hand for Jennifer Lee Pryor, people.
Let her hear it, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah,
This is
thank
great.
you.
This is so great.
episode.
Thank you very much.
Oh
Thank you
my
very much
God.
for sharing your stories.
Oh my
All
God.
that.